Shipping Technical Director, Navigation Services. For my sins, I'll try to speak into this. And my background, I went to 2 schools of navigation in this country, one at Warsash near Southampton, where I did my Merchant Navy training and certificates of competency. But because I joined the Royal Fleet Auxiliary fairly early in my career, I also went to HMS Mercury and did various courses there, culminating in what they call the Specialist Navigation course. And then I went on after there, and that was the mid-80s, to go and train NATO warships and naval auxiliaries in navigation, ship handling as well. So I've got a fairly broad experience, be it commercial or naval. In my current role, I do mainly accident investigations and reconstructions and act as an expert witness in court. So it's a bit of an eye-opener as to how things happen or they went wrong. So I'll touch on those things today. That was my first ship. That ship had 1 radar, had a log towed out on the starboard beam. Technology was in its infancy. That was my last commercial ship. She had 2 radars and a Doppler log. We'd moved on. And she needed a bit more space. But even the master of that vessel, I remember I was 3rd officer, dropped the anchor off Dunkirk and did his usual trick of waiting for the wash to come up onto the starboard beam and before he dropped the hook. So he said, "Let go." And the fire that was taking place on the forecastle was absolutely amazing as the cable was going across through the Gypsy. And the carpenter was trying to screw up the brake to stop it running so freely. Gosh, it was amazing. But technology moves quickly. We can't always keep up with how you may have to handle a ship of that size compared to the ones he used to serve in. And then in my later years, the ship on the left, I've just been talking to Kongsberg. That was the DP system we used on that ship, supporting nuclear submarines. I even had to support a French nuclear submarine in the Indian Ocean that needed some help. And on the right there, my last ship, down in the South Georgia and Falklands, those sort of waters, patrolling all over the place into places that weren't particularly well charted. But the ship on the left is an unusual ship because no commercial vessel would ever be a tanker and an ammunition ship in one hull. And at the front and at the back of that ship we had phalanx guns, which are these rapid-fire, multi-barreled guns. And the ship on the right, I was navigating officer in the Gulf War, and I was also in command of her. And she has a mixed population of doctors, nurses, Royal Marines, naval crew, and the RFA Merchant Navy crew. Anyway, I'm not going to read it out to you, but if you can see a quick canter through what I'm going to try and cover in the 12 minutes, well, 8 minutes now to go. I've learned the mysteries of situational awareness is not so much knowing where you are, but knowing where you should not be. Because today, with high precision, I can do a reconstruction and tell you exactly where you're grounded or where you collided with the other vessel. So something's not right, is it? And collisions are usually avoided by maintaining awareness of your surroundings, anticipation and application of the coal regs, and taking action. It's not about who's the first person going to blink before I alter. So, I just want to bring out precision and accuracy, the difference between the two, because when I read that GPS to 5 decimal places, that's not the accuracy of the system, that's precision. So precision is about the value from the set point, and accuracy is about the repeatability of that. So if you look at that dot board there with those darts, that's high accuracy, low precision. That's low accuracy, high precision. So getting around the bull, but not on the bull. And that one is high accuracy, high precision. So in all the systems and the navigation, the chart, how long ago was it surveyed? What's the accuracy of the chart? So CATSOG, the categories of zones of confidence, are now used on electronic charts, which we use in our ECDIS. If it's got a CATSOG, which is quite low, and the error is 1.2 meters, say, and you're allowing 10% of your draft as your residual safety factor, and your draft is 10 meters, so you're allowing 1 meter, so your allowance is less than the accuracy of that chart. So be careful of the precision and accuracies that you're working to. So the Hydrographic Survey, just a bit of history there. 1935, lines of sounding. There's a rock in the middle. By 1935, we were beginning to do lines of sonar. Still we didn't pick up the rock. By the early 1970s, we were using side-scan sonar, and we could pick up the rock. And from the early 2000s, we were using multi-beam sonar, where you can now read like that. You can color coordinate it, and it's accurate to decimeter level. So on the seabed, you could probably detect that mini that people abandoned somewhere. You know, you can pick up quite good objects, including wrecks. So, and this is a chart that was just showing those three labels underneath are where wrecks are. I'm not quite sure why this is moving, but anyway, there were wrecks there which were spotted by the multi-beam sonar in high definition. But no-go area, that's that area where I don't want the vessel to go. But here's a reconstruction of a chart in Wales. If you just drew the lines in, that's the 5-meter contour, 10-meter, and so there's only a very narrow bit of waterway to get in there. But you're on the bridge of a ship, you can't see those lines. They're not there. You have to put that into your system. You have to understand what it is. So I talk about, I've done that, right. I was trying to highlight, do you see that category of zone confidence, A, B, C, D? And there's the tolerances. It gives you a horizontal and a vertical tolerance of the data in that particular chart. So situational awareness is knowing what's happening around you, where you are and where you are going. It's not, it's, you either have it, you don't, if you didn't have it in the first place, you didn't lose it, did you? There are many examples where ships didn't have situational awareness. And here's one, the Ovid, grounding on the Varn Bank, using ECDIS. And when you steam between the buoys, it's a bit of a clue, isn't it, if you're looking out the window? And there were other opportunities missed not to know that that bank was there, including the master navigating officer in the old days, paper chart. They used to go and study the chart together. In ECDIS, you're required to not just do the route check that it has a facility to do, but you're both meant to go down the track together. Check there's nothing in the way. So 3 dimensions. That's the vertical, and that safety factor there was too small. This is a very complex slide, but it's to show you all the problems of heights from chart datum to heights that you pass under cables and bridges. And I've done that in Norway. Quite fascinating going around the corner on a fjord. I've never seen that bridge before. It's not on the chart. We use the vertical sector angles to measure the height of it, and then we tiptoed underneath it. All the cars stopped on top. I didn't think that was very clever in case we hit it, but we didn't. We got our measurements right. So you need vertical separation and horizontal separation from danger. You need to know where that danger line is. And of course, ships don't turn on a sixpence. They have length. So if you swing, you've got to be clear of that no-go line. So we need to have the 3 dimensions. Lattice navigation. Unfortunately, GPS is this. I mean, what does it mean? You go and read a figure on the GPS. It means nothing. In my early days on that first ship, we were taking radar bearings and visual bearings and ranges from radar. It meant something. Now you read a digital reading, it means nothing. So the Ovid going down her line in the North Sea into Dover Straits, that was her track. She was doing lattice navigation. She wasn't correlating it with other visual cues. Now, something different, parallel indexing. We talk about it a lot in the Nautical Institute. That's terra firma. That's terrestrial. So you're getting a satellite fix, and now you can get a terrestrial fix as well, just to complement that. So I think the acronym COAST should be adopted. Concentration, which will be vigilant watchkeepers, rested, health and well-being comes into it, and they're properly trained and motivated. And they're applying good seamanship towards other vessels. We might call that good sea manners in the old days. Observation, so good concentration improves your observation skills, so you can now anticipate what's happening around you. And it gives you the space and time to react to alternative courses of action. So I think we should be all busy coasting with our ships. We should correlate navigation systems. In the aviation world, they talk about primary, secondary, tertiary means of navigation. And it could be inertial navigation system, GPS and beacon, and an instrument landing system on approach. In the maritime sector, unfortunately, I think we just go and put a second GPS on, because just in case that first one breaks. It's still vulnerable, isn't it? And then looking out the windows, the tertiary. So we've really not built in resilience into our navigation. And we're not correlating properly